Massachusetts State Police Sergeant Yuri Bukhinik testified Thursday in Karen Reed's murder trial, discussing evidence gathered during the investigation. He also faced tough questions about the work of Officer Michael Proctor, who was fired following Reed's first trial. In his testimony, Bukhinik described arriving at the Canton Police Department on January 29, 2022, after learning of a potential conflict of interest between Canton police officers and the homeowners at the scene. Reed, 45, of Mansfield, a former adjunct professor at Bentley University, pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and other charges in the death of John O'Keefe. Her first trial ended in a hung jury. Bukhinik said he observed evidence, including bloody objects and a broken cocktail glass, and later visited the hospital where he examined O'Keefe's injuries, noting cuts, bruises, and pooled blood. He also testified about the decision to seize Reed's SUV and cell phone without a warrant, asserting that the items were only searched after obtaining the proper authorization. The prosecution asked Bukhinik to present evidence to the jury, including a pair of ripped jeans and sneakers, while describing his observations at the scene and subsequent investigative steps. Bukhinik said he and Proctor interviewed Reed at her parents' home in Dayton later on January 29, 2022. According to Bukhinik, Reed told them she was willing to answer their questions but did not want to go into too much detail. She was asked if she saw him enter the house, and she replied, "No, I didn't see him enter the house." She was asked about the damage to the tail light, and she replied, "I don't know how I did that last night," Bukhinik said. He also faced questions about inappropriate text messages sent by Proctor. In one of the messages Proctor sent while searching Reed's phone, he wrote, "No nudes yet." Bukhinik was disciplined for failing to supervise Proctor and for giving an inaccurate performance evaluation. He was stripped of his vacation time for 5 days. During cross-examination by his attorney, Alan Jackson, Bukhinik said the investigation was conducted fairly and resisted attempts to describe Proctor as the lead investigator in the case. "I'm not going to agree with that," Bukhinik said. Bukhinik's testimony is expected to continue Friday. What you should know about the case. Karen Reed, 45, of Mansfield, has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and other charges. Prosecutors say she struck her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her car outside a Canton home during a snowstorm on January 29, 2022, after a night of drinking. The defense focused on allegations of a cover-up involving multiple law enforcement personnel. They say O'Keefe was beaten inside the home, bitten by a dog, and then left outside. Testimony in Reed's first trial began on April 29, 2024, after opening arguments. It ended on July 1, when jurors reported deadlock, and a mistrial was declared. Reed's team vowed to continue the fight, and her defense waged a vigorous battle in multiple courts, seeking to have the charges dismissed or the case dismissed altogether. Meanwhile, a federal investigation into the case concluded without any charges being filed against the police. Ultimately, jury selection for Reed's retrial began on April 1 and continued through April 15. 18 jurors were selected, and 12 of them will deliberate on verdicts. Alternates will be selected and separated from the deliberating jurors before deliberations begin.